Albury was declared a city in December 1946. An official Proclamation Day was celebrated on the 10th of April 1947. Why was so much energy invested in celebrating the Proclamation?
It took 40 minutes, an afternoon and a night, 2 weeks, 3 months and nearly a decade to try to unravel what might be meant by the new city of Albury. It took 40 minutes for the 28 vehicles in a street procession to move to the beat of the Caledonian Band from Melbourne and Albury's town band, past the Governor of New South Wales, who'd come to read the official proclamation. There were afternoon celebrations that gave special attention to the young and the old. Proclamation Day celebrations culminated in a repeat of the procession, followed by fireworks and the coronation of Shirley Arnold as the first Queen of the City of Albury.
Proclamation Day was part of a 2-week carnival, which began with a hospital day fete, the opening of the Easter tennis tournament, and a 4-page supplement in the Border Morning Mail. It ended with the first City Gold Cup race meeting. A grainy newspaper photo shows the City Council float leading the Proclamation Day procession. That float set the tone for the others. First it was prettily beflowered. Second it was well endowed with young women. Third, it was smoothly motorised. Fourth, it drew on the local past, with the replica of the hovel tree, which had some specially blackened blackfellows lounging beneath it. Flowers. Flowers loomed large as demonstrations of refinement. At the very beginning of what settlers officially designated as the Murray River crossing place, Lady Jane Franklin had planted white clover seed around her tent. She hoped the pretty clover would spread from her patterned planting and civilise this crossing place outpost. Flowers demonstrated refined living. The town looked beyond everyday farm toil with the cultivated botanic gardens. In 1947, a specially constructed floral clock in Dean Square was the celebration's centrepiece. Through the 1950s, Albury was to hold annual floral festivals. Flowers showed how civilised the Albury Crossing Place outpost had become.
In 1947, Albury was celebrated with displays of flowers and young women. Factory girls marched ahead of the workplace float. Wodonga's float was decorated with colourful paper flowers and several of the district's prettiest girls.
Tourism operators commonly embroidered their advertisements of the charms of the district with attractive young women.
Albury did have an unusual abundance of young women. The census statistician noted the way that Albury provided sufficient work and leisure opportunities to retain, even attract, large numbers of young women. The presence of this cohort of young people of marriageable age promised further growth. In Albury during the war, as never before, young women from the town and its surrounds had joined the workforce's shop, factory and business girls, as well as nurses and teachers. The pay was poor, but the opportunities to take up paid work were a movement towards gender equality.
For the celebrations in 1947, business community representatives in a popular girl competition were selected after rigorous interview. They had to raise money for a charity. Contestants in an ideal girl competition competed for the honour of gracing the Regent Cinema's procession float. The judges gave more weight to figure and deportment than to personality and conversational ability in choosing Albury's ideal girl. 23-year-old Shirley Arnold was selected as the most popular girl and Queen of the new city of Albury. 22-year-old Joy Nugent was the ideal girl and Miss Regent. Both were business girls who lived their young adult lives in Albury.
The Governor, Lieutenant General John Northcote, attended many of the new city proclamations with his 20-year-old daughter Elizabeth as his consort. Elizabeth usually greeted the children and the pioneers. Perhaps in Albury she was impressed with the large number of girls of similar age.
The procession was to impress the Governor with the prosperity of the district. The prize-winning float, prepared by the wool brokers, had a shepherdess sitting atop bales of wool. Another float had fashionably dressed girls admiring a replica of Hume Weir as they lazed beside the latest model Buick car listening to a portable radio. Motor traders used the procession to parade their wares, for this was the age of the car, the truck, the bus and the tractor. Albury was up to date with the latest model vehicles.
The parade was well set. Across the road and round the corner from the official viewing platform were grand new buildings, all impressive architectural signs of the urban character of the place. The official visitors may also have been impressed with the civic space of substantial government buildings clustered around Dean Square, where they inspected the floral clock and met pioneers who'd lived in Albury for more than 50 years. Boastful citizens might have pointed to other architectural claims on cityhood elsewhere that showed Albury served its region with a large hospital, secondary schools, and even now the promise of a new, modern tech college, thanks to Jack Hurley.
Community nurturing facilities showed Albury was city-like with the services it provided its residents. A swimming pool, a preschool kindergarten, a baby healthcare centre, and, soon to be realised, plans for a bigger and better library. Loudly championed by volunteers, such facilities established community connection. They brought a sense of we, our, us, a sense of belonging. The Water Morning Mail told its readers that the most important elements in the Albury's architecture were private houses. These too showed how city-like Albury was. Gas showrooms showed their latest appliances in the procession. The census statistician explained that Albury's houses, unlike those in its immediate surrounds, had basic amenities, like those in cities. The presence of splendidly equipped houses, young women, modern cars, and big up-to-date buildings attested to Albury's claims to being a city.
The Governor inspected ranks of ex-soldiers and scouts. This was the immediate post-war years, and the recent past loomed large. Albury had welcomed soldiers in training and in transit through the war years. The procession touched on the experience of war. An RSL float was bedecked with flags of allies. The celebrations also drew on a deeper local past, with a Border Morning Mail supplement tracing the town's beginnings, an illuminated hovel tree, and a dramatisation of Hume Hovel crossing the river. There was an even deeper sense of past, drawing on Albury's British origins, with an illuminated address and recorded broadcast to the village of Albury in Surrey, which was being plied with food parcels. Albury proclaimed its Britishness. The governor congratulated Albury for its contribution of food for Britain. The guest of honour at the commemoration was a British trade representative. Townspeople were kept abreast of royal family news. Shirley Arnold's coronation was held with great pomp. There were grandly dressed heralds, a Lord High Chancellor, and an Archbishop. The runners-up in the popular girl contest were ladies in waiting. Albury enjoyed British pageantry. That was part of its thick past. Albury had a good Proclamation Day and Easter festival. There were horse, car, cycle and billy cart races, bowls, tennis and shooting competitions. The crowds were big and appreciative. The governor declared the procession the best he had seen. The proclamation of cityhood was a transitional moment. Scenes of the celebratory procession were shown nationwide.
Albury's boasts of flocks and crops, bricks and mortar, explained its economic development and the kind of civilization that came with that development. These celebrations were a community sing-along in which residents reassured themselves who they were and where they were. They established a togetherness, a sense of place, a collective imaginary of Albury.